There's an old fable about a farmer who owned a goose that laid one golden egg every day. And for a while, the farmer was content. But eventually, daily wasn't enough. He wanted all the gold at once. So he cut open the goose, believing that the treasure must be hidden inside. Instead, he lost the very thing that had been providing for him all along. A lot of people hear this story and they think it's just about greed, but I think it's actually also about the relationship that we have with our body. Welcome to Incandescent Voltage Luminous Being. My name is Tiffany, and I have been a functional medicine board certified health coach since 2017. Everything shared on this channel is for educational and reflective purposes only. You are the keeper of your own current. So do please seek medical or mental health support whenever needed. I think many of us have been the farmer in that story, not because we hate our bodies, but because we've been taught from a very, very early age. The body is just a machine designed for output. If it's not cooperating, we should push harder, restrict more, optimize further, track everything, and control whatever remains. Modern wellness culture, for all the good it contains, has inherited a deeply extractive relationship with the body. We speak about metabolism as something to hack, hunger as something to override, cravings as something to defeat, rest as something to earn. But your body is not a machine designed for extraction. It's a living ecosystem designed for relationship. And every time we demand more while giving less, we become a little bit more like that farmer holding the goose. Certain treasure is in there somewhere, convinced if we just force it, it will finally give us what we want. Traditional Chinese medicine offers a beautiful lens for this through the fire element. The fire element governs the heart and the small intestine, but more than that, it governs joy and warmth, connection, and capacity for appropriate enthusiasm. Healthy fire is radiant. It creates meaningful relationships. It allows us to feel safe long enough to experience pleasure and delight without immediately trying to optimize or monetize them. But fire can burn out of balance. When it becomes excessive, too much striving, too much urgency, too much stimulation or pressure to transform as quickly as possible, the heart becomes restless, sleep suffers, anxiety can rise, and the body loses its natural rhythm. The farmer in the fable was not living in balanced fire. The farmer was living in fire without containment and without yin energy to hold it. Fire does not warm, it scorches. This is what overcontrol often looks like from the inside. An urgency that sounds like ambition but feels like panic. A drive that looks like discipline but is running on fear. A pursuit of health that has quietly become a war on the self. And the body, sensing that it's under siege, becomes more vigilant, not less. Overcontrol is one of the most under-examined dynamics in modern wellness culture. It often disguises itself as discipline, and from the outside, it can look like dedication, commitment, and even virtue. But the nervous system experiences it differently. The body doesn't distinguish between a tiger chasing it through the forest and a rigid food rule it's trying to break. Both register as a threat. And a nervous system living inside constant threat doesn't relax into regulation. It braces. It hoards energy. It intensifies cravings. It becomes hypervigilant around food, around the body, around any situation that might threaten the fragile sense of control it's managed to maintain. This is not a character flaw. It's biology. The nervous system is doing exactly what it was designed to do in the presence of perceived threat. The problem is that we have created an environment where the perceived threat is our own body. When we learn to treat the body as something to be managed rather than listened to, something fundamental shifts. We stop being in a relationship with it, and we start becoming at war with it. And a body at war with itself is not a body moving toward healing. I want to be clear about something. What I'm about to say is not an argument for or against GLP-1 medications or hormone replacement therapy. Both have helped many people. There are absolutely situations where they may be exactly the right form of support. Of course, under the guidance of a qualified healthcare practitioner. What interests me is not the intervention itself, it's the energy from which we seek it. Because there's a profound difference between choosing support from a place of curiosity and self-compassion and demanding a solution from a place of desperation and self-rejection. When we're in a state of urgent extraction, convinced the body is the enemy, that the problem must be fixed immediately, that we cannot trust anything it tells us, we are more likely to skip the questions that deserve to be asked. Such as, what does my body actually need right now? Am I partnering with it or trying to force it into submission? Every intervention, every tool, every form of support works differently inside a nervous system that feels safe than it does inside one that's at war with itself. And I think that distinction matters more than which specific tool someone chooses to use. In traditional Chinese medicine, health is not found in endless yang. Yang energy builds and moves and creates structure and action and discipline and momentum. Yang energy is necessary. Nothing is going to change without it. But yang energy without yin energy, it's going to burn through its own fuel. Yin energy nourishes and restores. It cools the system and replenishes what constant striving consumes. Without yin, effort becomes depletion. Discipline becomes punishment. Structure becomes rigidity. And the pursuit of health becomes another form of exhaustion. The goose in our fable was the source of yin. She operated on sacred timing, not urgent demand. She gave exactly 1 egg per day, not because she was withholding, but because that was the natural rhythm of her system, consistent, sustainable, and unforced. The woman's mistake was not in wanting more. Her mistake was believing that the rhythm of the goose could be overridden by the urgency of her desire. Big difference. And many of us are making exactly that same mistake with our own bodies. We believe that if we want healing bad enough and push hard enough, the body should just somehow cooperate immediately. But the body is operating on its own sacred timing, and healing, like a golden egg, cannot be extracted. It can only be cultivated. Your metabolism is a golden egg. Your hormones are golden eggs. Your energy, your intuition, your capacity for joy and rest and genuine pleasure, all are golden eggs. Every time you sleep well, nourish your body consistently, Move with kindness rather than punishment, and allow your nervous system to experience safety, you are protecting the goose. Every time you eat enough and rest without guilt and trust the body's signals rather than fighting them, and choose support from a place of self respect rather than self rejection, you are protecting the goose. And every time you demand perfection faster than your system can sustainably provide it, restrict beyond what nourishment requires, or treat the body as an obstacle rather than a partner, you are reaching for the goose. And this is not a judgment. Most of us were never taught another way. We were handed an extractive model and somehow told it was health. But there is another model available, one built on relationship instead of force, on rhythm instead of urgency, trust instead of control. The lesson of the fable is not that wanting health is wrong. The lesson is that extraction destroys the source. You cannot extract health from a body that you are exhausting. You cannot demand regulation from a nervous system that you're keeping in a constant state of threat. You cannot force the golden egg on a timeline the goose was never designed to meet. But you can protect the goose. You can create conditions in which she thrives. And sometimes the most profound act of healing is not adding another protocol or reaching for another intervention. Sometimes it's the quieter, more radical act of deciding when to stop extracting. It's important for us to choose to become a steward of our own system instead of force demanding its compliance. Your body is the golden goose, and she's been waiting for you to remember that. Before we close, I want to let you know that I will be sharing a few reflective questions in the community tab tomorrow. You can use them for journaling, contemplation, or using them for a deeper conversation with a trusted counselor or therapist if that feels supportive for you. There is no pressure to have immediate answers. Sometimes self-awareness begins simply in creating space for the questions themselves. Thank you for choosing to spend time here with me today, luminous being. If something in this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear your reflections in the comments. How did this information shift the way you view yourself, your body, or your current season of life? What expanded your self-awareness as you listened? These conversations are not about perfection. They're about learning how to listen more honestly to ourselves with curiosity, compassion, and clarity. And if this episode supported you in some way, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need these words as well. And if you'd like to go deeper, I invite you to explore my free 5-day email course below. It's linked in the description. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern science to support your own health, nervous system, and wellness journey. And until next time, may you continue healing at the speed of safety.